Hey, coaches and athletes, I'm Michael Hughes, the movement specialist and co-founder of Gymnasio EDU. Have you ever benched a client before in a workout? Or have you ever been benched by a coach? It's kind of a bummer, isn't it? Now, as a coach, I made the mistake of doing that to an athlete of mine. She was pretty uncoordinated and not very good with the jump rope. She kept tripping on the rope and wasted so much time getting her cadence dialed in that essentially an entire round of workout was wasted. My heart's desire is to save her from herself and just get her heart rate up and give her a good workout. At the time, I was more traditionally trained and hadn't learned much about behavioral science or trying to get into the mindset of an athlete. I said, hey, let me take that rope from you and how about you just do really fast initial range, bodyweight squats. This would let her focus on her legs and get the cardio that I was intending originally in the exercise to give her, without running into issues or messing up. A good tweak, I thought it would be. Well, the truth is that people pay to feel important, valued, and special. They do not pay to feel embarrassed, uncoordinated, deconditioned, old, or like a failure of a workout. My habit of taking them out of a failed exercise attempt made them feel like a failure and invoked a negative emotion in their workout and into my product or my business experience. It was the exact opposite of my intention. Now, the truth was that I wasn't smart enough at the time to give them the right shift within the exercise to make them feel cared for, special, and ultimately successful. Now, today, I'd like to talk to you about the power of making the right micro modification. We call them tweaks, which keep an athlete doing an exercise that you designed and keep the workout balanced, but do it in a way that an athlete will feel and be truly successful. Let's dive in. And be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. It really helps out this channel and helps more people see our content and inspire them to think differently about how we train and condition our bodies. My team and I joke that our clients call our exercise tweaks magic. If you can grasp the concepts in this video, you'll learn the basic ways to tweak an exercise that will help you as a coach or a self-directed athlete basically have better gains or muscle shape and movement functionality, to have more sustainability in your workouts that enable you to work out more with less joint stresses. Also, you can avoid workout boredom from doing the same things over and over again with no variety, and keep you from hitting physical training plateaus that rob you from progress. Now, Tweakology essentially is basically the changing of a movement for desired purpose. Now, this can be done in many ways. We need you to basically have the best understanding of all the variables that we have at our disposal so we can enhance our athlete's ability or your ability to maximize movement. The question that we must ask ourselves first is what is the chain reaction? What is the process that we want to enhance with our exercises or action? Now, chain reaction is the summation of all the motions of each joint that a movement requires. As an example, if we have like an anterior lunge, right? We need to be capable to see what each part of the body's job is and to allow those movements to be done at the minimum level of success. With an example like an anterior lunge, let's kind of break down what's going on. At the ankle joint, we essentially have dorsiflexion in the sagittal plane. In the frontal and transverse plane, we have kind of pronation or eversion. At the knee joint, sagittal plane, we have flexion. Frontal plane, we have abduction. Internal rotation in the transverse plane. Hip, also sagittal plane flexion. Hip adduction, and also transverse plane rotation. And we have to understand how all those motions come together to see what's actually going on. Now, in reference to Tweakology, as a coach, I want to enhance a motion or a movement. Now, a motion is defined by a specific pattern of a joint, as I just described. A movement is all the motions or sequences coming together. Let's start by talking about kind of the 8 fundamental movements or actions, so you have a reference for all the fundamental movements that we have access to. Let's kind of talk about them. First, again, as I described, we have a lunge. Then what we call a squat coming in next. And then we have this thing called the lift, right? I'll use like a power block to kind of boom, boom, lifting up. Then from there, instead of a weighted action, we have like a reach, which would be kind of like no weight motion. Then we have push, think of like a meta-small pass or a bench press. Then we have a pull, think about like a pull up, or if I grab a viper and do a big row pattern. Then we have a jump, right? But that can include leaping, that can include hopping. And then we have this thing called locomotion. And that's essentially running, shuffling, skipping, anything that takes us from point A to point B on our feet or hands. Now, each movement requires a bunch of specific motions throughout the body. Once we understand the movement or the action and then the chain reaction of that movement, we have the power to create the optimal environment for that athlete or for you to optimally succeed. But we must ask ourselves, what do I want to facilitate this motion or the movement for? What's the intention of it? Ultimately, it will depend on your athlete or your personality, your sport, or the job that they or you most commonly do, or the amount of discomfort one may be feeling when the exercise they are doing isn't working. Now, putting this into a live session or workout, we'll need to reference our toolbox of knowledge. We use 10 observational essentials to guide the options and the tweaks that we offer. Now, these observational essentials are environment, position, driver, direction, height, distance, action, load, rate, and duration. And I'll show you detailed examples of each of these later in the video. But before I do, if you're a coach in an established brand or franchise or not, or an athlete yourself, having the ability to understand tweaking will make you the coach to train with, or enable you, the athlete, to create workouts with much more creativity, sustainability, and enhanced results. If you are a coach, remember, everyone wants to feel important. Thus, being that coach that provides slight tweaks to each workout your athletes attend will only give them more value and make you much more valuable to them. Again, for coaches or trainers watching this, the most important key for this video is that we hold the mindset that it is our job to create a workout environment that enables our athletes to be successful. The more we can understand how the body moves and what variables we have at our disposal, we're able to make subtle changes that enhance the body and the mind to create more value, and this is the ultimate win-win. Okay, let's see some application. I'm going to use the exercise, a single hand dumbbell clean to overhead press, to show you how we can tweak it 9 different ways without changing the action or the fundamental movement. Now, the first one I'm going to enhance or tweak is the environment. The environment is a sum of our surroundings, conditions, and influences. And let's talk about how I can do this, like ideally maybe on like a wood wedge, right? If I do that clean overhead press, I put my ankles into much more dorsiflexion, much more calf loading. What if I go to this bow suit and I'm in an unstable environment? Right now I have to control the body much more to do that clean to overhead press. And that makes a big difference. What about position, right? Now, position is the placement of the body, and there are 6 basic ones: prone, supine, sideline, sitting, upright, and kneeling. Let's show kneeling. If I do a clean and press kneeling, what am I changing? What am I altering? Well, now my lower body doesn't have a whole lot of motion to move from. I have my hips, but I've lost a single kind of leg, knee, ankle complex, all right? What about driver? Now, that's moving the body parts of the body that make the chain reaction. Well, typically when I do a clean to press, I start with my legs, my hips, and I drive up and I create momentum through this dumbbell. Well, I can change that by maybe doing the arm only and make the driver come through my hand versus through my legs. Changes the exercise a lot. Another one is direction. This is the angulation or the line of action. So if I do a clean to overhead press, I can still go overhead if I maybe go to the side, or if I maybe do a rotational press. I change my angle of attack. That's a big, big change in the shoulder. I can also change my height. That's the vertical measure relative to the body or the ground. I typically start a clean to press from ankle height to go overhead, but what if I start at hip height? Ooh, a lot more of a challenge than my upper body. Then I can change distance. This is a horizontal measure relative to the body or the ground. So what if I change my leg position? What if I go here and kick back? I now shifted my entire body backwards, had much more extension than I had to decelerate through my hip, core, and arm. Then I can change load, right? It's a simple one. Overall weight or an implement on the body, simply put, take the rack out, boom, I got a lighter load. That's a very simple one, but certainly a powerful one. Then I can do rate, perfect. This is the speed or the response of a movement, right? So I just go faster through that pattern. Good thing I had a lighter weight, ready to rock and roll, because that would definitely change, again, how the position went. And then, of course, the 9th one is duration. how long a movement is performed for. I did about 3 or 4 reps, but what if I did 20 reps? What if I did it for 2 minutes straight? So you can see how those 9 different tweaks make a huge change to the same exact action. And again, the action describes the movement, right? This is what I want to tweak if I can't tweak any of the 9 that I showed you before. But remember, the goal is not to make a full action tweak, for that is a dramatic change. The goal is to keep the same action, but apply only the other 9 options in a workout. From a coaching perspective, this keeps the athlete's body and mindset, not really noticing that they're doing anything different from others or biasing from the original programming intention. From an athlete's perspective, it keeps your workout focused on its original purpose and provides ways to optimize your results. It lets you finish a workout if you hit a painful movement, or makes you avoid boredom and plateau in your training. Take note though, if an action or an exercise is very painful, then a more dramatic tweak change is needed to keep your athlete or yourself in a workout at the sustainable level for that day. I always remember that every single athlete walks into our facility or any gym bringing with them some movement dysfunction. It is only a matter of time when, not if, they experience some sort of movement pain or limitation while training. This is whether they are feeling something in a workout or working in their yard and then come to a workout the next day already feeling it. From a coaching perspective, we are going to have to know how to tweak for it. And the better we are at it, the more loyal and trusted we become. This is a huge competitive advantage for you and your business. And tweaking is one of the most valuable skills you can have as a trainer or self-directed athlete, because it allows you to adapt to every situation any client or workout may have. But to really get good at tweaking exercises and tweak them with intention and on the fly, first you have to understand the biomechanics of the body. How you tweak an exercise up or down or in or out dramatically changes how the muscles are being used and therefore the results of any person. This is all stuff we consider in our multidimensional movement coaching program and our mini courses. So if you're interested in honing in your ability to tweak exercises and understand the biomechanics behind those tweaks, check out the links in the description below. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about in this video, drop those in the comments below as well. See you next time.